It's all in me. I can read your thoughts right now. Everyone from A to Z. I can cast a spell. Secrets you can't tell. Mix special brew with fire inside of you. Anytime you feel danger or fear, and send me, I will be there. I'm it's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, I'll do it naturally.
Yes, and you are tuned into When Women Step Up. And no, we do not own the rights to that music, but I'm telling you, everybody can identify with it. Yeah, all us girls. How you doing today?
Doing great, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, but my voice is just, hey. But we want to say thank you so much. You are tuned into When Women Step Up. And today, my guest is Autumn Hartpence. Hey, Autumn.
Hi.
She is I think everybody should be in the Navy because I was in the Navy. But she is an Army.
Air Force.
Air Force?
Yes.
Okay, so quick backstory. That's what I was going to join because I felt like they were the most girly. Because you could wear skirts. Oh my God. They had a cute little pencil skirt with a little
and they itch like crazy, so you made a better choice.
And I was just like, because y'all see this. I'm a girly girl. And I just knew I was not wearing green because that's not my color. And I wasn't going to corral on the ground eating dirt and food out of a can. That's not her.
Fair.
No. But I want to say thank you for tuning in today. And When Women Step Up is an educational piece of 100 Shades of Diversibility, where we improve the quality of life for persons legislatively, economically, through community partnerships and education. I am really loving this new show because I get an opportunity to celebrate and highlight women that give so much of themselves to others, to the community, and they're never celebrated. And you may not see them as being, they may not have a title of senator, congresswoman, or, an executive of a large company. But these women are definitely making impact. But I believe that this woman right here, she's going to have her name all over. And everybody, I want you to know, she was here first. Yes, she was here first. And so I'm excited. I want to say we were cohort number 3.
Yeah, something like that.
So
we're right there, yeah.
Yeah, we were like inaugural, if you will. So the Michigan Veterans Entrepreneurship Lab that is housed in Grant Valley State University. It helps veterans and their families if they want to start a business. And at the end, they get to do a pitch competition. Woo. And we were in class, I want to say like 2 or 3, back in 1900 and
18.
No. Yeah. Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
It was funny that you bring that up because when you and I had met at that time, and you had Henriette on your show not too long ago talking about her new business. And when she had went to that cohort, the first or second one to talk about Wink, she called me like 9 times. She's like, Autumn, you need to do this. Autumn, you need to do this. And I'm like, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a partnerpreneur at best. And she's like, there's food. When do I need to be there? I tell you, that's
you know what?
Was,
they had the best food, though. They really did.
I mean, and I wouldn't say in a dark place, but I was in a struggling space because I was in school and then still trying to gain work experience from transitioning out of the military, just trying to find my footing. So no, I'm not going to turn down free food, and maybe I'll learn something that'll make me better. Might meet someone that give me a job, whatever. And so my business at the time was teaching CPR because it's a business that my dad had. And I thought about it. I'm like, what business could I do that I could marry into every other business? So we had one woman who was a doula, like, infant CPR. And we had
Oh my God, we sure did.
yeah, and we had the Marine who was the introvert's personality that did the bee farm. How many people are allergic to bees? And so I was thinking about that being my business. So when it came time to pitch, I knew in my heart that I wasn't going to go forward with this business. So I didn't put in an effort because somebody deserved that money. But I still utilized all that knowledge I had gained to do business coaching over the years since I've got my MBA in business. So coaching has already kind of been something I've been doing for years. My social network is pretty much entrepreneurs or business leaders. And anybody I've ever worked for, it's kind of at the C-suite level anyway. In my previous employment, I reported right to a VP, before that, the CEO. So one of my biggest strengths as well as my weaknesses is being such a go-getter that it's almost to an intimidating level, because like, you're extremely qualified. That's what makes us afraid to hire you, because that person sitting across from me is like, she's going to come after my job.
So I think it's so funny that I've applied probably in the last 20 something years, one job, and I applied at JCPenney call center because it was right around the corner from where I lived. And when I finished answering all the, doing all the questions, and then they did the one-on-one interview, and lady said, okay, look, I'm just going to tell you right now, you're overqualified and you should be running your own business. I was like, well, what? She said, based off of how you answered the questions, she says, I think that you need to have your own business. And quite frankly, she said the same thing. She says, you could be the manager here and you might come after my job. So I'm not going to offer you the job.
Which you can't actually say these days too, which is because it's not discrimination, but it almost is without saying it.
Right.
And so it's funny that you bring that up too, because when you and I had met, when you come into the room and you are the sunshine. And I remember thinking that when you and I met, I was like, I want to be her when I grow up. So now fast forward a couple of years later, you have had brain surgery. I have had brain surgery. You're prior military. I'm prior military. We're both now moms. And, you have always been someone I looked up to. So like, I follow you just because of the wisdom you gain. And now spreading that love to how women step up is because we learn from other women. And so that's actually how this even came about, because during my transition and being at events and just trying to find ways to learn so that way I fit in, because that's part of that transitioning is what veterans we stand out.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So, and don't laugh when I say this, for the longest time until I actually saw it spelled out, I thought to make men's eat or meat as a expression meant MEAT, like putting food on the table. I never thought of it like this, because if you keep doing this, it's, to me, that registers paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, you're going in a circle. You might be moving, but where does it end? And so last year, I was finally at a good job. I was in a great place financially. I was doing it by myself. A year before that, I had met an amazing man, and we were talking about retirement and traveling. We didn't want to have kids. A month later, we're pregnant. And the interesting thing was, we're both I'm about to be in my 40s. He's already in his 40s. So you don't think that kind of thing is possible. You think your body is just like, toodaloo. It's not really something you think about, but apparently it was in God's plan for us. Unfortunately, it was hard on a relationship. So, he's a great dad, but then when she was born, he deployed. So now I'm doing this on my own. And of course, I started joining these mom groups because I'm like, I have experience with kids, but I don't have experience with newborns. And you go through that stress and anxiety. And I was kind of glad that I never had kids, because the idea of pregnancy and labor scared me. Like, I'll deploy, sign me up. Carrying a kid? No, doesn't sound fun. And so it was a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of foreign emotions that I'm not accustomed to, and then make feeling alone because to him, like not wanting to have kids was like, oh my God, another mouth to feed. And her and I didn't get a chance to really grow a relationship. You don't know what you're signing up for.
Right.
And sometimes people have previous toxic relationships that have kids. So now it's a trigger factor. And that happens a lot. And
And we never
so,
talk about that. Unfortunately, we always talk about the woman and what she experiences. And then, she gets a man and you wonder, like, he's not a good man, but you never think that, what, maybe one of your sisters was not good to him.
yeah.
And this is how he is. And so I think that we are all a little biased when it comes to relationships as it relates to men and their experiences, and even us. What happens when we've been in a bad relationship, and whether it's an ex-husband or the father of your child, and then you're ready to move on and you're really not ready, and you ruin somebody else.
I mean, that does door swings both ways because the guys are like, she's crazy. Well, how do you think she got that way?
Right.
The disappointment, and
And then
because,
we say he's crazy.
yeah, or he's broken, or we're broken, and it's a lot of emotional baggage that comes with that. So during that journey, through my pregnancy and stuff, I had something in me that said, you need to be saving because you're in a right to work state and you work for a right to work company. You might be protected while you're on FMLA during your pregnancy and maternity leave, but what happens afterwards? Because realistically, being in a manager position, if the place didn't fall apart, do they really need a manager? And I feel like that's what happened is because I was on maternity 8 weeks, that because things went well, that my company learned to officiate without my position. And that's just how I feel. Now, whether that's true or not, that's just the impression that was left when this decision came that like, hey, we're not moving forward with this position anymore. It's not anything that you did. It's just changes in the company. That happens. That's business. They got to be able to not corners, cut somewhere to be able to gain somewhere else. And so, of course, it had to happen the year that I bought a brand new house and had a baby. But if it weren't for the fact that I had struggled throughout the years to transition, I'm very good with my money. So I saved for this rainy day. I made a lot of sacrifices. I was very disciplined. It was hard because there's still things I want to live. But at the same time, I'm like, I know myself. I don't like to struggle. So I don't want to put myself in that position. And yes, does it complicate to have that what if mentality? Absolutely. But does it make me feel secure? Absolutely. So as I joined these websites to kind of get feedback about how to be not only, just a mom, not only even a great mom, just, what to do in certain situations that I don't know what to do, because I'm not from Michigan and not having support, but like people around me, their kids are older. So now they have to think back like 10 years of like, well, 10 years ago when my kid was an infant, we did this, but times have changed. And as these women are putting out these problems and things,
But
and
even when times change, they even change between babies. The first baby, people have to wear a hazmat suit to visit you and to see the baby, and you sterilize everything. By child 2 or 3, child, let them eat dirt. We don't care. They'll be fine.
yes,
That diaper can stay on another 5-10 minutes. It'll be okay.
right.
And oh, sure, you just coughed and sneezed. No problem. Pick up my baby. Go
But
ahead. Bye.
the stress changes. So think about the anxiety you have with your firstborn of protection. Now you have amplified anxiety because you have more than one that your eyes and ears have to go in every different direction. And that's what I was noting the commonality on these, when women would portray these problems is they had 3 things in common with all their problems. It was either time related, I don't have the time. It was money related, I want to do these things, but I don't have the money, or
Mm-hmm.
stress related. I, so much is going on. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to wrap around my head around it. I don't know where to start, especially like stay at home moms that are in domestic violence situations. How do I get out when I don't work? And childcare is expensive and all these things. But there's so many resources out there, they don't even know where to start. And it's like, okay, dial it back. to, let's say that that's not the situation, just the stress, financial, whatever the case might be. Now, for those of you who've ever been on an airplane, think of it like a safety measure. You put on your own mask first before you
Mhm.
assist other people's. How do you expect to run an effective household if you don't take care of yourself? Because your kids are feeding off that energy. Mama's stressed, mama's tired, mama's angry, mom's overwhelmed. Not thinking about those. Most people, I fortunately did not have postpartum depression, but those who have is extremely serious. So, I mean, and the women I do talk to, I'm like, it is okay to cry. It is not okay to quit.
I like that.
That's the thing. You keep going, mama, but I mean, you are welcome to cry, but you cannot quit. So one of my girlfriends and I were talking about the other day, her mother-in-law makes her absolutely crazy. But she does it out of love when she gives unsolicited advice about their brand new daughter's about 6 weeks younger than mine. And she's like, well, they're always making me out a bad guy. I said, so own it. Own being mama bear. It is okay because it shows that you care. It shows you're doing your homework. It is okay. And she felt a lot better because she's trying to appease everyone. And I'm like, and it's stressing her out, making her depressed, affecting her mood, affecting her health. I'm like, why? What is it that's relevant in this situation? And that's how we coach through this. And just bringing that woman some peace, just in that conversation alone, made me feel a lot better because you had conversations with other guests about imposter syndrome, and that did cross my mind. But I don't really worry about those things
Let's
because
put a
when I
pin in
see,
that real quick.
I'm sorry.
And let's put a pin right there.
Sure.
We want to say thank you so much. It's about 4:15, and we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. You are watching When Women Step Up, which is a educational program of 100 Shades of Diversibility. And our guest today is Autumn Hartpence. She is the CEO of Busy Mama Wellness Coaching, and she is an Air Force veteran. And I want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. And I want to say thank you so much uh, for coming on today and sharing your experience. Uh, a couple weeks ago, I had another guest on, and we talked about imposter syndrome. And many times, I think for like her, you, and myself, part of our imposter syndrome is the fact that we were females in a man's world. And the same, she was Army, I'm Navy, you're Air Force. We just need a Marine around here, and we're, Coast Guard, and we're, hey, good to go. But we're always made to feel as women in the military that, you know what, it belongs to them, that uh, we really shouldn't be here. And so, but we still have to do the same job. We still get the same training that they do, but they don't necessarily, want us there. And then we come out here in the civilian world, and I don't know about your experience, but mine always is, so who's the veteran? And I'm like, I'm the veteran. I'm the veteran. Oh, or if I call in for an appointment or call in about my benefits or call in for a prescription, it's like I'm the veteran. This is 2023. And just in the state of Michigan, we have more than 45,000 female veterans. We should not still look at a woman when she enters a VA facility or calls in and is looking for someone else to be the veteran. So I think that contributes to our imposter syndrome, you know. But I think that we're always qualified, and if we're included, I think part of the things that we talked about a couple of weeks ago is that when we're invited to the table, is it because we're truly qualified? Or do we check enough boxes that it looks good for the organization or the other person? And then that's, the other piece for us is like, okay, do you think I am? or am I qualified enough to be able to do this? Because we definitely have enough lived experience in order to coach anybody through anything.
It's so with that point, to coach anybody through anything. So when I'm going through my hard time, the difference between me and others is when my VP called me and said that, hey, we are no longer going for it. And that's effective immediately. Instead of being going, oh my God, what am I going to do? It was more of a, well, that sucks. And
Yeah.
the reaction to devastating news like that, especially a job that I loved, but it's the same time, like you always know that good things come to an end and new chapters of your life start. So, and then of course, it had to happen before the holidays. Nobody's hiring during the holidays. And all these just little things. And my transmission went out, and it was 3 weeks before my warranty was up. So I have a guardian angel, but I think about what would happen if I had to pay out that money for a brand new transmission for a job I don't have, taking care of an infant, and all these other things. Daycare is expensive. All trying to wrap my head around it, and for a lot of moms too, like one of the first things my sister said to me when I got pregnant is she goes, "You need to put her on a waiting list for daycare." And I'm like, I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact that I'm pregnant right now. I'm not thinking about daycare. Like, but I kind of wish I would have taken that advice because it took months, like close to a year, to get her into daycare full time. And so if you're in daycare full time, how am I supposed to get a job full time? Because I have no one to watch her on those days that I don't have daycare because her dad's deployed. And, some parents don't even have the other spouse, or they're there, but they're not there. And it's like, really, what I want from Busy Mama Wellness is to just a wellness, no matter what you're going on through with life, what's going on. My focus is the mom to get you back in a sound mental space that you can take on whatever. That's where you need to be, because you can take on anything that your life has if your mind's in the right place. And we're going to get you there. We're going to do it through time management. We're going to manage your finances by either creating a budget or kind of talking about what your financial goals are and just what do you want to have the best quality of life. Because if you're worried about everybody else, what happens to you? Because you're going to wake up one day and it's going to be 6 years later and you're going to be like, how did this happen? You forgot to moisturize, honey. Just little things. You forgot to take care of yourself.
I was reading earlier as I was posting for the show, and I would love to have her on. There was a lady talking about all of the things that she let go concerning herself because she was focused on so many others.
Yeah.
And now she had to just say, you know what? I got to think about me.
Yeah.
It's time for me to live and live unapologetically. And I don't think that we necessarily think that we need this type of coaching or that it has to have such a formal label to it. Just as you stated, you talk to others that, oh, they got kids. I'll ask them questions. And, I talk to this person because, they're a financial planner and an advisor. But you are coming with all of it in its totality. How do you want to market yourself so that people say, should I pay for this? I mean, really, I could just go ask, my second baby mama cousin. She could just tell me, why would I want to talk to Autumn?
So I'm glad you brought that, because I was actually going to be my next point. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. This is why I don't want to do life coaching, because it's not necessarily about what's going on in your life. It is about the mental wellness for you to handle and be the best version of your life. I want you to have the best life that you are living in the moment and actually have it all. So what do you want out of your life? What do you want out of this session that would make you feel a sense of well-being? I'm not selling a product. I am selling emotional stability to make you be able to go to bed tonight knowing that you have a plan if something were to change, that you have security. that you know what to do. Because that's what I see out of these moms groups is, what do I do? How do I find the time? How do I find the money? You know,
So
how
how do they
do I
find?
lose the baby weight?
But how do they find
Oh,
a
so,
way?
well, one, you can start on my website at busymamawellness.com.
Okay, let's put that in there real quick.
Okay.
Well, we'll edit that. And it is www dot.
busymamawellness.com.
No coaching on there?
Yes. Or no, it's Busy Mama Wellness only at .com. So one of the things too, while we're talking about why would you pay for the service, one of the things that I offer is group coaching. You can bring up to 3 friends, so it'd be 4 people total. It's my budget friendly option, so the total price is split between however many people are in your group. Because sometimes you need that accountability partner, or you need someone to be there with you to be your support. You know, moms, we stick together. If you ever kind of notice that, like when it comes to the elderly, that it's mostly women doing things together.
True.
Like, we're not afraid to live. Men are reclusive and you don't see it very often. But with women, we golden girl it up. So it is no different at any age of our life. We even think of it like even the animal kingdom, women stick together.
True.
Females stick together. We are the best resource. And the same thing, like, why would you not ask someone else? Because realistically, I'm certified in all these different aspects. I've certified in life coaching, transition, career, health and wellness. Did I say financial? Not only that, I have my master's, a lot of resources. And another thing that you and I share in common is working on my doctorate degree is strategy and innovation. So my whole theme, my educational theme is strategic ways to make it better.
Absolutely.
So that's what I offer different than just asking your friends.
One of the things that we can make an obvious observation is you were in the military. So that means you probably can do this. I'm a civilian, or, I was never in, I didn't serve. And so I don't have that same strength, that same tenacity. And you know what? I'm gonna be okay. But I know this is working for you because you were in the military.
They're not relevant. That's the thing, is what makes it relevant is the fact that I'm a mom. I'm a busy mom. And even if I was in the military, it's survival. It is what I need to do to take care of my child. It is what I got to do to take care of me, because some people are blessed to have, a significant other that contributes, not all of us, or have helping hands. There's plenty of people in Michigan who have families that have no support. And this, I want to offer them support because we build a community this way. And plus, having someone to coach them of especially introverted personality. How do I make mom friends? Well, let me show you. This is part of the coaching program, is to leave someone feeling confident you can do this. And that's so kind of walking through what a coaching session would look like. So we start off with some breathing exercises. We do in for 3 count, hold it, and then 2, 3. We do it 2 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And repeat after me. I got this.
I got this.
Yeah. Because you know you're beautiful, you know you're strong, but you need to know that you got this. And then we have a coaching plan. So this is my wellness planner. It comes with, I want to be able to ship a pen, but it gives you the things that you are like, I don't know if you can see this, like what you're grateful for, positive thoughts, daily activity, notes to leave for yourself. It's not dated, and it is for a whole year. Even our coaching session is between 12 and 24 sessions. So 12 to 24 sessions shows consistency to actually implement change. I want you to see a return on your investment. I want you to see results, and we will not stop until we get there.
Okay.
And having that,
can you have the planner without the coaching?
Anybody can order a planner without coaching, absolutely. But if you, same thing, if you know how to, if someone shows you how to use it appropriately to see change, I mean, you could write this stuff down, but what does that mean? And that's what coaching does, is to really kind of bring out new potential in yourself to show that you can get it, that you got it. I can
Well,
be better with my money. I can be better with my time. I can be not stressed about the things that are outside my control.
all right, we got the trifecta: Navy, Army, Air Force. Woo,
Heidi.
I love Heidi. She's tuning in all the way from Muskegon. Whoop, whoop. She's got our six. We appreciate her and we love her. And we thank you so much for tuning in. Our Army vet. And this is how we do. We come in and we support each other. And it's really important. I like what you said about being accountable. A lot of times people get upset with me. They don't want to tell me, but I know when they're upset because I don't give you a lot of room for excuses. And I definitely believe in being accountable, and having those conversations. And so my business is an L3C, which is a combination between a 501c3 and an LLC. And it just means that my mission is more nonprofit geared, so it's not like, okay, it's important for me to make a lot of money, but it is important. My mission is helping other people become the best that they can be, regardless of, where they are or what they're doing. But it only works, number one, if you work it. And number two, you have to have accountability partners. And so, having the 3C part, I could have a board if I wanted to. But what I choose to have are accountability partners. And I have them all across the United States. So they're just not in Michigan. I have one in California, one in Georgia, Chicago, a couple of here in Michigan, and I have one in Washington, D.C. And so when something is happening and they're all watching what it is that I do. And so they'll say, hey, we saw you did this. What were you thinking? Where are you going to go with that? We kind of like this. Or they'll say, why have you considered this? And I'm like, oh, okay. I hadn't. I like that. And then when I get ready to make decisions, I check in with them. And they hold me responsible for the things that I said that I'm going to do. She said, what's the maximum effective range of an excuse? And there is none. That's it.
Yeah. Excuses are not tolerated, but you can have temporary setbacks that just helps you prolong for the next step.
I just said to Autumn before we came on, I said, I don't know how long I'll do this. I don't know how long my voice will last me. And I said, we might have to stop a little bit early. And I said, but I'm going to show up. And I think that's the biggest piece for most people, is just showing up for life, because they find so many different ways to be able to check out. And that's one thing that I've always refused to do. I've had my moments, and trust me, when it got bad, it was real bad. But when I came back, that was just it. We're not doing this again.
Right.
There's so many things that need to get done. And one thing that I love to tell people is that I need you to get it together, because you're the answer to somebody else's prayer. And even if you don't pray, you have a request, or you're looking for something and you're waiting on that other person, because it has to be another person that has to answer the call for what it is that you need. You need a baby, you needed childcare. Well, you don't have to tell me where the baby goes, but just think, if where your child goes, if that person had allowed life circumstances to keep them from doing daycare, you wouldn't have it. And people don't think about things like that. So I think that, helping people to kind of get it together and figure it out, because they're going to be the answer, or the response to someone's request.
Now, would you agree that people have the potential of answering their own prayers? That's why we coach them, is to bring out the potential of how they can achieve what they're praying for.
Yes and no. There are things that, how do you answer your own prayer? Get up, get dressed, and you gotta face the world first and foremost. So that's the first part. But if you need a car, you don't make a car,
Right.
So it's just showing up. You gotta get up.
I was meaning, like, coaching someone of, like, what should you do to achieve those things?
You know what?
Heidi's.
Why?
So I used to be a personal trainer, and that's how I look at this job now, is to be a personal trainer for your life, to hold you accountable. So we go at each session, we'll go through what you wrote down. You have to do the work. You have to put it on paper so that way you can physically see what your life is about, what you want your goals to be. How do we live in the present to have a better future, to have a better quality of life? Because everybody around you sees that. And the idea of working with someone to help with their mental health, because coaching is a step below therapy. And if that's something I feel, I would tell them, like, hey, this is something out of my scope of practice. I think that a professional, and then we can revisit once you're in a better place and then step forward. Because the difference between with therapy and coaching is therapy does the past tense stuff. Coaching does the forward thinking.
Yeah. That is a very good way to explain it. It really is. And I think that people need to write that down. I mean, take a picture.
Because that's why,
something.
Why?
Because a lot of times, but let's not forget, I think that somewhere in there, we need to look at what are your top 3 to 5 things that you keep repeating. There's like 3 to 5 things that people will do, or situations that they get themselves into, that need to be addressed up front. And because this is going to keep you from moving forward.
The thing that people get me is the ones who say, I know. Well, what are you going to do? It's one thing to know, but what are you going to do?
They're not. If everything you say to them and they tell you that they know, well, then they need to go know that someplace else, and they're not ready for you right now.
And that was the point. It's like, I'm here when you're ready. So that's the thing, is I don't want to come here and push. I don't care about the number of clients. If I help one person, all of this would be worth it, because that's the chain reaction effect. Is I've made someone feel better, to have a better quality of life, that they portray that to their children. They have a better relationship with their spouse. They have a better relationship with their family because they're in a good place mentally. I didn't make them rich. I didn't solve all their problems, but I made them, give them the absolute confidence, not just believe, but give them the confidence. You can do this. Here are your tools. We're going to go to work.
Yes.
That's what coaching does. It gives you the energy. It gives you the belief.
And then she's talking about, it's the energy. Yep. and then that's the piece that I like about having an accountability partner, because there's a synergy that's created when you're working towards being positive and a goal. And then this person is like, yeah, you know what? I was working on it too. And then you have an opportunity to encourage each other and say, and be in a good place. Because sometimes, we have people who can come against that, and or they're not ready to change. Because one of the things that I do in some of my counseling is I say a couple of things. The reason why you don't want to change is because somewhere you're benefiting from being the way that you are, and or there are others who are benefiting from you being broken.
Misery loves company.
And it's not even so much about the misery loving company. It's not that. When we're not in a good place and we're not making good decisions, then other people can come and take advantage of that.
Right.
Because you're not necessarily trying to be miserable, but somebody else sees that you're in a vulnerable state and there's like, oh my God, they're going to take advantage of that. But then Autumn comes along and says, hey, you can do this and you can get the confidence. Guess what? It's going to piss off some people because it's like, wait a minute, I was benefiting from you being broken. No. I don't want you to get better. So this is why it's important to have accountability partners, because then you have a place to go away from the toxicity that keeps you where you are.
So, I never had a TikTok account before, and then I did that to kind of start portraying these things, just to kind of give nuggets of information. But
Thank you for tuning in, Heidi, and enjoy your
Heidi.
Reiki and massage.
So do you ever notice that when, like, if you ever watch TikTok, some people who portray their feelings or vent about something negative, they have like a lot of followers. They're just attracted to it. So to your point too, is like, if they have like this, like I watched a guy earlier talk about a horrible date that he was on. Now that is a negative thing. He's having a struggling time with dating, and that's a lot of people, and he's just talking about these horrible dates and people are just watching. Now, if I was a relationship coach, why would this man want to get better when he's got all these followers?
Because it's like, I'm not doing it. No. Because
like
now,
that's to your point. That's to your point about people who.
She said,
but you know what I'm saying.
TikTok.
But so I do offer free virtual consultations. We can talk about it. We can see if we're a good fit for each other, and if we're not, at least then we can have a good conversation. So getting something out of it, and it costs nothing.
So can you read off your website, please? How they can get in touch with you?
You can go to www.busymamawellness.com and schedule a free virtual consultation, or you can email me at info@busymamawellness.com.
And we want to say thank you so much, Autumn. She needs to go. This busy mama needs to go get her baby.
Yes.
And so we want her to, we don't know what the traffic is going to be like. And it's a little bit windy. We don't want her to get blown away.
Yes.
So we want to say thank you so much.
Thank you
so much for coming on. And this was a great conversation. And please reach out to her if you just
even if it's just a conversation. I'm here for you. I will be your accountability partner.
So we want to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
People need to dance more. They'd be happier.
I know, right? Yes. Come on, Autumn, ready?
I dance for my daughter when I feed her. It's so funny. She thinks it's just the funniest thing ever. I'm terrible at dancing, but with her little spoon, like.
Until next week, be well.
Be well, people.